G'day. We're going to now look at Formation HQ units and the second section here. Actually, firstly we'll look at the thing that we didn't cover in the previous tutorial, which is simply this on the right hand side is the superior HQ unit to the HQ, and by clicking on it we'll actually move to that particular HQ. If you want to move back, just simply it comes back to the current Formation HQ. So we're going to look at this line and the different icons and what they represent. The first one here is leave formation. This basically, if you click this button, it means that if you are in the habit of using the next unit button or the N hotkey, by clicking that button, it will leave that particular formation out of that loop. Not completely useful perhaps for Kharkov, but certainly once you play across the Dnieper, you'll find that to be most useful. So that's what that button does. Now, next is a series of buttons here which indicate the current turn number and the following two turn numbers, and this has to do with the command radius display of the HQ. Now, the command radius is critical. It basically delivers combat bonuses and attack resupply. So it's a very powerful thing, and your units must be within that command radius at the start of each turn to receive those bonuses. Now, the command radius on the map is displayed as a series of yellow arrows. So when you either select the HQ or a unit of that HQ, you'll see that command radius appear. Now, the interesting thing about the command radius is that it varies depending on what that HQ has done the previous turn. So, for instance, to give you an idea, if I right-click here and look at the features of the unit and the command radius, each command radius has a power rating. The power rating indicates the burst in OPs of that command radius. So how far from the HQ does the command radius extend? Now, in normal circumstances, it's 25 OPs, but you'll notice in brackets we have mobile 7, which means that if the unit has moved in the previous turn, during that next turn it will be reduced to a maximum of 7 OPs. So you can see the problem there is that as the HQ gets set up the next turn, its ability to control units after moving is severely hampered. So that's very important to keep in mind. So to give you an idea of how that works, let's look at as you select each unit of that formation. As I said, you'll also see the command radius showing up. So let's move this unit. We know it's normally got a power rating of 25 for its command radius. Let's move it to and see what happens. So if we move it, let's say, to this town, and then we look at the command radius display for, say, currently it's turn 3. Let's have a look at it for turn 4. You'll notice it's reduced to a degree. If we go back to 3, that was the command radius at the beginning, but because it's moved and reduced its mobile rating, if we look at 4, it's now that. And if you notice, if you also click on each of the Formation HQ units, you'll notice it will automatically adjust to reflect the what it believes it will be the command radius for that next turn. And you can also then look at, well, what's it going to do on turn 5 if I don't move in turn 4? It's going to bounce back. So again, right-clicking on that. So that's why it's important to keep an idea, keep a track of where the command radius is going to be in future turns. So mobile 7 indicates that at a certain point when it does move, it's going to reduce it significantly. The bonuses that the command radius, a unit that starts the turn off in its HQ's command radius, are quite significant. So if you have a look here, we'll just go through them. Attack plus 2 shifts, that's pretty obvious. It gives you a 2 shifts bonus to attack, which is absolutely vital on the attack, obviously. Minus 50% unit penalties, not immediately obvious what that means, but it basically indicates that as a unit moves through enemy-held territory, the terrain-based OP penalties are reduced by 50%. So this is quite significant. It basically means that the unit is moving perhaps faster than it would normally do if it was out of contact with the HQ through enemy territory. Plus 2 attack supply when refitting. Again, this is important. When you use the new manual refit feature, you basically get 2 additional attack bullets when refitting and within the command radius of the unit. In this particular case, it doesn't. The command radius doesn't apply any dice roll bonus for indirect fire and direct attack, but that is possible. And certainly in the Kharkov scenario, some of the Soviet HQs get a -1 to the dice roll bonus, -1 to the dice roll for indirect fire, so that the artillery units are a little bit more effective. It's certainly for the first 3 turns. Also, again, within command radius, if the unit is attempting to refit, in this particular case, it has a 30% chance of a step refit, which is where a unit has effectively run out of timed replacements, has lost a step, is refitting, and there's a 3 in 10 chance of that occurring in this particular command radius of this unit. So command radius, really important. Now the last item here is toggle formation display. Oh, there goes my clock. It's 10 o'clock. The toggle formation display indicates the formation display basically highlights in certain colours all the units of that particular formation. I find it very handy indeed. Now, the units will be different colours depending on how they receive their supply at the beginning of that turn. So, for instance, in green means that they received their attack supply through their formation HQ. That's obviously the best state to be in. It means they got their bullets and any of their other bonuses. There's also yellow, which indicates that they didn't receive their attack supply. So if any of those units are in yellow, I don't think any of them are, because see, they're all within that radius. But if any of them are highlighted in yellow, then they would. It means they received no attack supply for that turn. And thirdly, the other item that it could be would be for if the unit was highlighted in blue, which would indicate that they received their attack supply through a subordinate HQ. Now, that's very, very useful when you have, for instance, say in the Germans' case, say we have attached units to the 6th Army, but they are operating within. They're closer, for instance, to a subordinate HQ. The subordinate HQ would hand out attack supply due to the subordination, if you like, of or the hierarchy of the system. So they're quite powerful units in that regard. Attached higher echelon units of an HQ can operate in other HQ areas and still receive attack supply. So again, look out for that one. If you see those blue highlights, it means that they've received their attack supply through a different HQ. Just on the point of receiving attack supply, as I said, it occurs at the beginning of the turn, so you've basically got to make sure you've set up everything properly in the previous turn to make sure that you can keep blasting away in your new turn. Now, the important thing here is to receive attack supply, the unit has to not only be within the command radius of the HQ, but also needs to be in general supply. General supply, hit the S button, or you can use the supply icon down here, and you'll notice the map turns green. Green indicates that that unit is in general supply. So not only does the unit have to be in command radius of its HQ, but it also needs to be on a hex, starting on a hex which is in general supply, and that's basically any green hex that you can see on the map. So that takes care of that row. I think we'll look at the bottom unit display in the next tutorial. Cheers.